Caring for New Mexico families is a tradition for the French family of companies, a tradition started by Chester T. French. Mr. French came from Knoxville, Tennessee, and arrived in Albuquerque on a windy day in 1904. Mr. French opened his first location at the corner of 5th and Central on November 1, 1907, and began the tradition of caring for New Mexico families. Elizabeth Thomas also was from Tennessee, and she had moved to Albuquerque to live with her brother and teach school. It wasn't long before she became a new bride. Soon after being married, Mr. French began investing his spare time teaching teenage boys in Sunday school at First Methodist Church. The class was known as the Lucky Band and was a class he would continue to teach for the next 40 years. His commitment to French Mortuary and the families he served brought growth in the business to a point where a new facility was needed. So in 1921, the commercial club was purchased and became the French Building, the new home of French Mortuary, located on the southwest corner of 4th and Gold Streets. There he would continue to reach out to families during their time of need. Along with caring for people, Mr. French had a love for flowers, especially his dahlias. He combined his love for flowers with his love for children and began having flower growing contests. In the late 20s, Mr. French visited Forest Lawn Cemetery in California and got the idea for a modern cemetery for Albuquerque, using all flat markers and having a beautiful park-like appearance. That idea became reality in 1930 when Sunset Memorial Park opened its gates for the first time on the corner of Edith and Manal. Finally, Mr. French found a permanent home for his flowers. Sunset was a special place to Mr. French, and he loved to keep the grounds looking special. Through the years, business would continue to grow, and French Mortuary would change locations twice more. In 1935, the chapel in the garden was completed on East Grand. In the late 50s, with I-25 being built through Albuquerque, plans were drawn up for a new site for French Mortuary on its current location at 1111 University. A few years after the completion of French Mortuary at University, Sunset Memorial Mausoleum was completed and dedicated on Memorial Day in 1961, later to be renamed the Chester T. French Memorial Mausoleum. Mr. French had stayed actively involved with children too, including starting the French Boys Choir, later to become the Albuquerque Boy Choir of today, and helping finance Hummingbird Music Camp, a favorite place to go for all kids. As Mr. French grew older, he developed heart and arthritis problems, so he created an exercise program that worked so well for him, he had a pamphlet printed up called 1 Minute a Day Will Keep the Aches and Pains Away, and began giving them to anyone who was interested. People's responses were so incredible that by 1964, over 50,000 pamphlets had been mailed or handed out. During all this time, Mr. French's own family had grown too, and in 1958, Mr. and Mrs. French celebrated 50 wonderful years of marriage by having an anniversary party with their children and grandchildren. Mr. French not only cared about the families he served at French Mortuary, also he loved his own family very much. It was only natural that he would eventually ask one of his grandsons to become a partner in the business. 3 of Mr. French's grandsons have been involved in the business over the years. French Mortuary and Sunset Memorial Park and Mausoleum have grown into the French family of companies. Including in 1986, the Wyoming Boulevard Chapel was completed. It was only fitting that the first service held in the new chapel was the marriage of 2 members of the French working family, Paul and Corey Layer. Continuing in its reputation of serving New Mexico families, French opened a 3rd location, the Lomas Chapel, in February 1996. This beautiful 16,000 square foot facility is located on the city's east side, and its lovely traditional decor creates a warm, comfortable environment. The West Side Chapel was opened in 2000. Designed in a mission style, the West Side Chapel location offers Albuquerque's West Side residents a high-quality location closer to home. Today, the French family of companies has grown to the point where extra time is devoted to keep working relationships healthy, To maintain these working family relationships, several activities are planned throughout the year. Everyone is encouraged to bring their respective family members to get to know one another in more personal ways. The picnics are a favorite, as well as the Christmas parties. The future looks bright for each of the French family of companies. Handling more services than ever before, French Mortuary provides 4 beautiful facilities located at University, Wyoming, Lomas, and Westside to care for families with sensitivity and professionalism. With its professional and family-friendly development capabilities, Sunset Memorial Park and Mausoleum has continued to systematically finish new phases of the park, including ground and crypt burial sites, preparing for future needs. A conveniently located office complex is used for park staff and Sunset's own pre-need sales program. Planning is even being done for future cemetery sites once Sunset reaches its capacity, which is still several years away. Being the first in New Mexico to serve families through the pre-planning of funeral services has led the way in helping families plan for the future. This unique approach offers family members an ability to state their wishes and desires and express themselves in ways they may have never done before. Currently managing over 10,000 active pre-planned funerals. The newest addition to the French family of companies is Best Friends, a pet services division. This company allows us to extend our reach by being able to care for families who have lost a beloved family pet. These families receive the same quality of professional service and care as do all other families served by the French family of companies.